Hello friends, in this video I'll be talking about the major topic of cognitive psychology. We call it as intelligence. We'll be discussing meaning, definition and characteristics along with the nature of intelligence. Intelligence is a psychological construct, as you know, which cannot be perceived, nor it can be by our senses, nor it can be seen, nor it can be heard, nor it can be touched. But it can be proved by various scientific theories, processes. So that is a we call it a intelligence. The word intelligence has been derived from the Latin word that intelligentsia or intellectus, which has been derived from intelligere, that means to comprehend or perceive. Intelligence is the general cognitive competence to deal effectively with life challenges through following means, such as understanding, self awareness, learning, emotional awareness, reasoning, planning, creative thinking, critical thinking, and problem solving. So, here the important point that I want to make it here is that the word or the variable intelligence is a capacity or the ability of the cognitive domain which helps in dealing with life challenges. And these challenges are dealt with following your behavioral expressions or your various psychological attributes, such as I told you, understanding, self-awareness, learning, etc., so on and so on, so problem solving, etc., etc. Through these, we deal with the life challenges, and that all are the, in fact, the components of, you call it as a intelligence. So this was the meaning. A crisp meaning of intelligence, which I told you, you cannot perceive the intelligence, but you can prove it. Take the case of gravitational force. You cannot perceive gravitational force, but you can experience that through, and you can prove through scientific activities, scientific experiments. Similarly, the case with the intelligence. Means, what is the definition? Binet, 1916, Alfred Binet, he defined intelligence as the ability to judge well, understand well, and reason well. So, this is not a comprehensive definition of intelligence, but it has been tried. It's a wonderful step in dealing with the intelligence. Then comes the Wessler 1944, who was developed a famous test, WAIS we call it, a Wessler Adult Intelligence Scale, and other various intelligence tests he had developed. He defined this is a bit intelligence definition that covers almost a good part of the concept of intelligence. It is the global and aggregate capacity of an individual to think rationally, act purposefully, and to deal effectively with her or his environment. This is Wessler's definition, means global capacity means an aggregate capacity. Global means your total capacity, cognitive capacity, and aggregate means out of that total capacity, what is the gist of that capacity in context of how you think. That thinking has to be rational and your actions has to be purposeful, and you have to deal effectively with your environment that can be your internal environment as well as your external environment. So that is the meaning of definition given by the Wessler. Similarly, the Sternberg and Saltus 1982, they defined intelligence as a goal-directed adaptive behavior. Means whatever we do, we have a goal in our mind, and we try to adapt with various situations in various contexts in order to reach our goal. So that is the crisp definition of the intelligence. Now, when we study a nature of some psychological construct or anything, first meaning definition, then we have to study some characteristics of intelligence. Because without understanding the characteristics of some variable, we cannot understand, we can form the concepts of that variable uh, clearly. The characteristics are the you can call it as a building blocks of nature of a variable. So, what are the characteristics of intelligence? Let us start with the first one. It's a psychological construct that I told you that can be proved just as a gravitational force, but it cannot be perceived. How you can prove intelligence? You give a problem to a student or an individual. How much time the individual takes to solve that problem? Minimum lesser the time, more the person is says to be have more intellectual capacity or intelligence. So that is the beauty of intelligence. It cannot be perceived, but it can be proved. Then comes the intelligence act as a guide and regulator for the rational and logical thinking. Means when we think rationally, or the logical aspect of thinking is controlled, regulated, and guided by the one of the major variable of psychology we call as a intelligence. Then comes the intelligence is instrumental in adaptation with environment. Whenever we need to adapt with the environment, that is new environment for us, the major role played by any psychological variable is intelligence that helps us in adapting with the environmental changes, or that environment can be a sociological environment or your cultural environment, psychological environment, or physical environment. Then comes the fourth characteristic of intelligence is it's a major problem solving tool. Means whatever the life, whatever challenges are thrown upon by life or the problems offered by our day-to-day situations, we has to deal with the problems and challenges. So, sorry, intelligence helps in that. Then comes your the fifth characteristic of intelligence. It effectively manages cognitive resources. We have various cognitive resources that has to be managed for the effective usage of that resources. So for that, intelligence is a very important construct. That is here intelligence played a big role of a manager for managing cognitive resources. Then comes the how you can know that individual is intelligent. That is means intelligence expressed through your novel creations, means your novel new and creative solution to the problems, to deal creative dealing with the life challenges. So means if you express yourself in a novel fashion, novel way. This means there is a high level of intelligence in you. Then comes the intelligence provides platform for storage or recalling the information. That memory is a separate variable in psychology we study, but that base for that memory is your intelligence. Means intelligence provide a baseline for the memory. Means those individuals who have high level of intelligence are said to have good memory. Then your eighth characteristics is the formation of concepts is the function of intelligence. Whatever concepts we form in our cognitive system, that are guided and regulated by the intelligence. You know the format of the concept meaning? Concept is a set of beliefs or set of instructions which are present in our system, cognitive system. That is regulated by the intelligence. And the ninth characteristics, it is determined by the interplay of heredity and environment. It's a very important concept or characteristics. Means intelligence is not purely heredity, neither it is purely environment. It is the result of the interaction of the both, that is your heredity as well as environment. Means heredity sets the limits and individual grows and develops within that limits in the context of the environment. So these are the 9 characteristics of intelligence. Now we'll come to the topic of today's video is nature of intelligence. So what is the basically nature or field or scope of intelligence? Now let us start with basic understanding. As I told you, intelligence is the interplay of genetics as well as environment. So this develops under the influence of environmental factors within the limits prescribed by the heredity, which I told you. It is the cognitive function of human minds. Means whatever the cognitive domain we have, that is the function of intelligence. And it can be expressed and manifested through specific behavioral responses. Means intelligence can be expressed through processing of information and gathering and generating understandable output. What does this mean? Means, see, you are watching this video. You are watching, there is screen in front of you. So that your eyes are gathering information from the screen and transporting that information through your optic nerve to your brain. Here your brain is processing. Suppose this is a letter. This is some round letter. How your brain is interpreting it as a O. It can be zero also. But your brain, what is doing is your eyes are uh, uh, transporting the information to your brain through your optic nerve, and your brain is processing this information into understandable output. Means the output which can be comprehended easily. See, these are all letters. If you deeply observe or keenly observe these alphabets are pure nothing but few style of lines. Somewhere, see, this is U. There are different lines. Similar case, the N, D, somewhere round, some curve, some straight, some all these things. These are the some various calligraphy. But we perceive this information, our brain processes it, and it converts into understandable. Now we could tell that these are the 5 alphabets U and D are. These alphabets combine together and make a meaning under. So this is is the function of intelligence. Means we achieve this activity by virtue of being we have intellectual or intelligence capacity. Then comes the fast computation. Suppose someone asks you 2 plus 2 multiplied by 2. We generally ask this question to young students. So lots of people answer the question as 8. But in actual sense, the answer is 6. Because it is 2 plus 2 multiplied by 2 as per the board mass rule. We have to multiply first. 2 into 2 is a 4 plus 2 is a 6 answer. But this process we have done with the help of what? Who is responsible for doing this process? Certainly, it is none other than the intelligence, the fast computation. Then comes the creation of memories. Suppose you are watching this video. After 2 3 days, you still remember, yes, we had watched a video that concerning the nature of intelligence, and there was such words and such photographs and such material in the video. So that memory is created by whom? It is intelligence. Means intelligence is responsible and provide platform for creation of memory. So these are responses. They are behavioral responses. So through these responses, we manifest that we are intelligent beings. Then comes the decision making. A life throws you challenge at every step, and we have to decide at each and every step for the quality living, for our better living, for our survival. So, who is responsible? Who provides these inputs for your decision making? That is none other than intelligence. So, these are behavioral responses which are expressed through these activities, and that indicate the presence of intelligence. And so, interestingly, intelligence is found in humans, although animals and even plants too. So yes, plants do have intelligence, and they all these living beings, humans, animals, reptiles, birds, and plants, We all use this intelligence for adaptation with environment and to ensure the survival. You maybe ask question, how plants do that? How animals do that? Take the example of creepers. If you have seen the creepers, what creepers do? When the creepers climb, or the climbers climbing plants, when they climb, they try to encircle the whatever thing that come into their way. They either it can be rope, it can be tree, it can be wall. The means they have to survive. For their survival, they have to encircle that. They have to move around that to stick to them. Similar case with the animals. You take an example of deer. When deer is grazing in forest, that deer has to be intelligent enough to perceive the danger thrown open by the prey animals. The animal has to remain active, remain conscious for the incoming danger. That means intelligence helps in adaptation with the environment as well as ensure the survival. I told you, intelligence is unseen qualitative force, helps in learning from past experiences, consequently modifying the behavior. Means modification of behavior is what? Is learning. And this is achieved by intelligence. Suppose you had a good experience, past experience. Suppose you are watching a video in the previous exam, you watched a video and you had a good experience that watching video helps in scoring a good marks. So what we do is we not only our behavior is modified, we tell others too that if you watch these such videos of a psychology, you can score good marks because the concept understanding is easier through these videos. So what is that? You have learned from your past experiences and you have modified your behavior. Instead of reading various unpopular books or some books or notes which are available, if you start watching and you have that the watching of videos helped you in past, so in the future too you won't read that books which are freely available or which are very cheaply available, but you'll go for the videos because you have the past experience, you have a past experience of that. In that case your behavior has been modified. Who is responsible for that? Your intelligence, because you have made decision, and it is a natural power of appropriate responses and cognitive faculty that operates at subjective level. So intelligence acts at subjective level, but it is expressed at the objective level. So a very beautiful thing about intelligence is it operates at subjective level, but it expresses at objective level. Means individually we operates our own decision making or cognitive faculty, but expression is open to all. That is the meaning of that point. So we move the next. Here, it is neither skill nor a necessary condition, but a natural cognitive capacity which cannot be enhanced. So, many researches has proved that intelligence cannot be enhanced, increased or improved. It is a gifted capacity, cognitive capacity. Various studies and theories suggest that its development ends with the termination of adolescence. Yes, it's a funny thing. That moment your or the time your adolescence ends, here your intelligence also stops developing. At that stage, whatever we have developed our intellectual capacity or intelligence, that is the limit of that intelligence. Various studies suggest that there may be chances that in future various studies with new instrumentation or new technology, they may prove otherwise. But right now, it is clear that your intelligence ends with the development ends with the termination of adolescence, and it has its unique presence in each human being by virtue of gender, culture, heredity, and stimulating environment. Means intelligence also is the dependent upon your what is your gender, what is your culture, what is heredity, type of your stimulating environment. So these are the all factors that influence the intelligence. So my dear friends, Gardner in 1992 said that to my mind, a human intellectual competence must entail a set of skills of problem solving enabling the individual to resolve genuine problems or difficulties that he or she encounters, and when appropriate to create an effective product, and must also entail the potential for finding or creating problems and thereby laying the groundwork for the acquisition of new knowledge. So it's a beautiful statement given by the Gardner, who developed a psychology theory of intelligence. So you must understand the gist. So dear friends, this was all about nature of intelligence. We discussed the meaning of intelligence, definition of various definitions of intelligence given by the Wessler, Alfred Binet, and Sternberg. Then we came with the characteristics, 9 characteristics of intelligence, and finally we talk about little bit about what is the nature of intelligence, or what intelligence mean to psychology or to the general populace. So, my dear friends, these are my references. You can always cross-check them, or you can refer them for the further studying. And our next video will be discussing on the topic Spearman theory of intelligence. By the time, if you have anything to say to me, if you like to that I should record some more videos on particular subjects, you love to listen from me, just write in my comment box, or you can write me through my email varmasujit@yahoo.com. If you like this video, share with your friends. But if you say something or dislike it, kindly share with me. I'll be glad to receive your critical comments and certainly improve my next coming videos. By the time, thank you friends watching this video.